You got to try sometimes.
Scott Redler has tried all sorts of paths to find success. He and his business partner Bill Simon began talking about starting Timberline Steakhouse here in Wichita about 11 years ago. A year after that, they opened the doors.
It was really unique because West Wichita did not have a lot of restaurants at the time. Everybody was driving to the minimal number of restaurants at that time on Rock Road. And we came out here and we stood on this lot and we said, these people have to eat, and why do they have to drive 25 minutes?
As successful as Timberline is, Scott has the drive to constantly try to make it better. As a chef himself, he's always coming up with new recipes.
Finding out what to put on the menu is a lot of fun because we travel. And we go to a lot of different restaurants and try things that we think that look popular, that are at a lot of tables. We put new items on all the time, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work.
Since opening these doors in July of 1997, Timberline Steakhouse has worked out quite well. He's expanded to the east side of town, to Topeka, and even into Joplin, Missouri.
When you first opened up, did you have any idea that it was going to be as successful as it has been?
Absolutely not. We feel very, very fortunate, and we appreciate everyone that dines with us.
He also appreciates the people who work for him. Scott says some of them have become like family.
We have managers that work for us that have been with us for 10 years, and watching people grow and develop and watching their lifestyles get better as they grow with us, that's a great success. That's really very, very rewarding. We have very low management turnover, and I think that's really been one of our main reasons for success.
Part of the reason people stay is the fact that Scott promotes from within.
Our general manager in Topeka, Kansas, started at the first Timberline with us as a waiter.
It's been said that once you've done something successful, it's much easier to do it a second time. And Scott has definitely found that to be true. In 2002, he and his partner Bill Simon, along with Randy Simon, decided to try opening another restaurant. That's when Freddy's Frozen Custard came into being.
The funny thing is, Freddy's also was West Side first. Our first Freddy's was 21st and Tyler.
Freddy's is based on a new philosophy.
Everything's cooked to order. We have a full service attitude with a quick service restaurant. My wife and I have a rule, and it's WTC. It has to be worth the calories, and custard is worth the calories. So.
And here's a little trivia for you. There really is a Freddy. He's the father of one of Scott's partners.
And Freddy is just one of the most incredible people you'll ever meet, a World War II veteran and someone who's given back to Wichita community all of his life and continues to. He still speaks to classes.
Scott has big plans for Freddy and the restaurant that's named after him. Right now, there are 11 stores across the country. Scott hopes to have 18 open by the end of the year.
Expanding Freddy's right now. Hopefully Freddy's 10 years from now, someone will be going another business that started in Wichita, Kansas that has national presence.
Scott says Wichita is a great place for people who dream of creating something new.
The energy from WSU, Center for Entrepreneurship, and everything else that started really with Pizza Hut and prior to that, I think helps give you that catalyst for someone to think, hey, it's okay to go out and try. And for that reason, people do try.
Although he's been extremely successful with both Timberline and Freddy's, not everything Scott has touched has turned to gold.
Was it always easy?
You gotta remember, we also opened up Seabass Bar and Grill. And we opened up Seabass thinking, well, there's no seafood restaurants in Wichita. And I think we were a little bit ahead of our time, and it didn't work.
But that wasn't the only so-called failure he's had.
I opened up a quick service Chinese restaurant years ago, similar to what Dillon's does now, and we did that in Clayton, Missouri, and it didn't work.
Instead of giving up, Scott used that experience as a teaching tool.
And I really call that my master's degree. And it was fun. We learn things by doing it. We learn what's right and what's wrong, and you learn something every day.
In other words, as long as you learn from your mistakes, don't let them stop you from trying again.
You've had some failures. What made you keep going?
Well, that's a good question. You know what? I think we're just doing what we enjoy.
Had Scott given up after either of those setbacks, he never would have enjoyed the success he's had with Timberline and Freddy's.
We all make mistakes along the way. If you could go back and change something, what would you change?
Wow. That's hard to think of. I think that, we've made mistakes that we'd probably like to reverse, but I think if you don't make those mistakes, you don't learn anything.
When a lot of us look at someone like Scott, we think things were just handed to them, that somehow their path was paved or their family had a lot of money. But that just wasn't the case. Scott was actually one of 3 children.
Modest upbringing and, comfortable, but by no means, wealthy or anything like that. I mean, we went through some periods where my dad was out of a job, unfortunately, and it made us learn, value jobs and value work.
And work hard he did. Another thing successful people like Scott share is that they have an amazing thirst for knowledge and constantly look for ways to grow.
Yesterday I drove to Boonville, Arkansas to look at a meat plant that makes our Freddy burgers. It was unique. I learned something there. And you've got to learn something every day, but do what your passion is. Don't go do something because you think you can make more money at it.
Scott has definitely made money doing what he's passionate about, and he's more than willing to give it back to the community that is given to him. He's one of the first to donate to charity auctions and other worthy causes.
We have to feel fortunate for what we have and help people that need it and help organizations that are worthwhile. And we definitely take our time and pick those organizations that we feel benefit the most. On September 11th, when planes were stuck here, and we ended up helping feed a group that was staying at Salvation Army up north. And Salvation Army folks were wonderful. We're still involved with them today. We do one of their meals for them every Christmas season.
If you're thinking about starting your own company, Scott has some words of wisdom for you.
I think the most important thing is somebody has to do what their passion is.
197, your order's ready, number 197.
Once you find out what your passion is, do that. And that's going to lead you to success.